We're back once again with another retro shelf unboxing, a new book that was in stock at Fusion Retro Books. So unfortunately the package got a little damaged when the postman put it through the door, but it should be fine inside. So this is a book by someone I've had the pleasure of interviewing for Retro Gamer in the past, and in 2016 I also interviewed him as part of the Amiga and Pixels panel promoting that book for Fusion Retro Books at the Centre for Community History, and it is Life is a Game by Mev Dinc. So a fantastic career, Steve Merritt. I'm proud of his achievements, John Hare. I both admire and hold Mev as a dear friend. So the inspirational success story of a legendary game developer. Life is a Game tracks the fascinating life and successful career of legendary game developer Mev Dinc. The story begins in a mountainous Black Sea village. His father left him and his mother when Mev was only 6 months old. With no home and thrown into poverty, they were left to survive the harsh winters alone. By the time he arrived in the UK in 1979, he had an English wife but couldn't speak a word of English. He then bought a ZX Spectrum in 1983 without any desire to use it. Through his resilience and ingrained will to overcome any obstacles, he learned to speak English and taught himself programming and game development, all in 2 years. The rest, as they say, is history. This incredible story shows how Mev came from these humble beginnings and ended up becoming an award-winning game developer, a member of BAFTA, and the founding father of the Turkish gaming sector. This intriguing rags to riches tale will inspire as much as it entertains. Mev is a legend, John Dean, a true Turkish gaming legend. Well, let's carry on now. So as I say, Mev I spoke to a couple of times about Nightmare, about his work with John Twiddy on the Commodore 64 GS, and then for his Amiga games on the Amiga and Pixels panel. So this is currently on offer at Fusion Retro Books. At the time of recording, it's a cheaper price through them compared to other sites. There were some problems with Amazon fulfilling orders in the UK. So Life is a Game. To Mum, Dad, Janet, Najati, Gulson and Silla, Barcelona, London, Istanbul, 2016 to 2020. The QR code takes you to a video there. Creating a global gaming company from Turkey. About the author, quotes from people he's worked with, and the foreword, preface, and the game begins. Childhood and the English years. And so we go through Mev's childhood, as people knew him, his sporty side, school uniform, skiing, lucky to be alive, middle school, the cinema, filmmaking attempts, talking about languages, high school, university, and ready to get married. Money, money, money. The marriage and the Izmit years. That's where they moved to. And then coming to England, landing at London Heathrow, living with the in-laws, Sunday roast, Yorkshire pudding and custard, taste of England, 3-day train journey to Istanbul, settling in England, first test of my English, the arrival of the Iron Lady, Margaret Thatcher, who became Prime Minister in 1979, power to working class, making cables, the cable guy, baby, Mum joins us in the UK, Cookie the card game, hello Sinclair ZX Spectrum, what am I to do with my ZX Spectrum, meeting Brian Marshall, Programming becomes a passion. And then machine code. First professional assignment. And becoming a programmer. And his first work then, the Commodore 64 conversion of Ant Attack. Creating games with the MSX, and his first solo title, Jerry the Germ. Meeting publishers, negotiating. Nobody Can Stop Me Now. So Amstrad CPC, which he could have used as a development system. Prodigy, interesting game, isometric 3D. And then starting work with Rod Cousins and John Dean. Enduro Racer. Emulating the Spectrum on the Amstrad, which is how he tackled that conversion to the Amstrad. Aliens and Big Trouble in Little China. Nightmare. I did like Nightmare. I know some people didn't get on with it because the controls are an unusual idea, but in some ways it's a bit like Maniac Mansion in that you're using a list of words to control. Stardom with Last Ninja 2. Joining the Last Ninja team. Moving to London. Top secret meeting at the service station. The beginning of the Vivid years. Amiga 500 there. Hammer Fist from Vivid. They started work on the Konix multi-system. The console unfortunately failed. Time Machine. I am a big fan of Time Machine. Mev worked with Rafael Checo and Jason Perkins, and it's a very clever game. And Vivid then did First Samurai, sort of play our words on The Last Ninja. There's another classic game, C64 version is incredible. Pushing the Amiga to its limits. Cover there from Commodore Format. And unfortunately then Microsoft collapsed and Ubisoft published Cousins to the Rescue, First Samurai, then published on Super Nintendo by Kenko. First Samurai 64 and the GS. Turkish Army. Second Samurai. Sony PlayStation emerges. And then Street Racer. Very good game, Street Racer. Chicago launch of Street Racer. A bug that won't bug off. Mingling with the Turks in London. Meeting his second wife. His mum passing. Hodja, the Turkish legend. Who then went into the game. Was going to be a separate game. Changes it. Vivid. Scars for Ubisoft. Street Racer 2 and the Actor game engine. Joining the Society of Software Authors. Actor 3D game engine. Pentium 4 demo of that. Just when everything was going so well. And then he left England and went back to Turkey. A fish called Mev, or like a fish out of water. So then, starting from scratch, back to university. Founding Soviet Studios. Buying a house in Turkey again. Renewing his ID. Actor Technology Demo 2, Dual Blades, first console game from Turkey in 2002. Online Football Manager. Billiards Magic, the Istanbul game. MMO RPG. ICANN Football, first 11. Anecdotes from Istanbul. Jimmy Dida. Meeting Vestel. John Dean going to Istanbul there. The Citroen C4 robot game. You see there's QR codes with extra links there. And the Soviet Studios in 2009. The team he worked with there. Super Can, Turkey's first kids hero. Turkish Digital Games Federation. And then dropping out of the game for a while. Working with the Online Gaming Academy and leaving Turkey again and coming back to the UK. To Barcelona, settling in Catalonia. As you've got short chapters, but some nice photos and so on. So Barcelona, still what is learned at Barcelona, and then back to London in 2016, May 2016 there. reconnecting with friends and work colleagues, going back to Southampton where I used to live, getting in touch, meeting back up with Brian Marshall, and various events there. And in fact there is a picture from the Amiga and Pixels panel, I believe. Yeah, there's Stu Cambridge, Mev Dinc, Arch McLean and Robin Levy. Becoming a BAFTA member, Super Street Racer, or how about Super Samurai? Attempted Kickstarter to fund us. How about going mobile instead? Back to Istanbul for a while. Life is a game. COVID-19 testing times for all. And that brings the story up to date. And so I'm looking forward to reading through that. Sure, there's plenty of fascinating stories about the games, and Mev is a great guy. So I made the unboxing video, and then I had time over the weekend that followed to read through the book itself. And as I expected, the short chapter sections made it very easy to read, and the text flowed really nicely. Some fascinating stories about Mev's life, where he's lived, and while I would have appreciated more technical detail, there isn't a lot really in terms of in-depth technical stuff. There's quite a bit about the background behind the design and implementation of certain games, and there are several very interesting stories about how Mev came to be working those games. And there's quite a bit about the places he's lived as well. I also enjoyed right at the end here, I have a poem from Jameson Lee Hill, who helped Mev with the English translation, and that's quite a sweet, interesting, emotional little poem, sort of summing up life and in some ways summing up the journey that Mev has been through. So it brings things right up to date. The English edition completed during 2020, and I hope you enjoyed this look at Life is a Game by Mev Dinc, the inspirational success story of a legendary game developer. And keep watching my channel for more Retro Shelf book reviews and unboxings, for the merch stand, looking at retro gaming merchandise, for gameplay videos and much more. Like, share and subscribe, support me on Ko-fi, and see you in the next video.